Hey, what's up, you guys? Godly Perfection here, and I'm here to do the second episode, technically first episode of Mindful Cartography. For those who didn't watch the intro video, it's a series about covering level design theories and concepts and throwing out examples and reference articles that you can read for yourself and help you improve your map design skills, specifically for Halo. There's a Forge contest going on right now, hosted by the community cartographers at Halo Waypoint, specifically for Halo Reach. Community cartographers are a group of people that look for maps for matchmaking made by the community to hand off to 343 Industries for matchmaking consideration. Anyways, today's episode is on debunking common sense. The term common sense, because I've heard a lot, especially doing Forge lessons. When I created the Forge lesson series, a lot of people said the topics were common sense and don't need to be covered. And I actually think that's heavily exaggerated. Let's look at the term debunking. Don't look at that. So, debunk. To expose or exorate? I don't even know how to say that. A claim, assertion, whatever, as being pretentious, false, or exaggerated. I think common sense in using it towards the Forge lesson concepts like incentives and eye-catching and aesthetics, innovation, reputation, stuff like that. I think using common sense is the wrong way to go about it, because that makes people think that, this isn't something that I should take the time to look into. I mean, common sense, by definition, is sound practical judgment that is independent of specialized knowledge, training, or the like. So, basically, common sense would be something that that you wouldn't need the specialized training to know. And a lot of the concepts that I talk about, you may think that it's common sense to you, but unless you take the time to look at it and understand it, then it's not common sense to your typical forger, especially beginners. Like, for me, it's common sense for me to look at how weapons move people around, or audio cues and how they trigger people to turn around and make people move to different areas. Or it's common sense to me, this is a big one, common sense to me that making friends is very important. Whether you like it or not, politics do play a huge role in how things work out in your life. And making friends can help that, and being a good person in general can help that a lot. That's common sense to me. But to many people, they don't realize how important that is, and because of that, their bad reputations have kind of lessened their progress towards their goals. Things like that are extremely important. Aesthetics can be common sense to some, but not others. I mean, making your map look good, that sounds like something that should be done. I don't see why not. It seems common sense to me, but most people don't. A lot of people won't see it as common sense. So, deeming something common sense kinda hurts understanding and study, and it's understanding these concepts at its core is important, and breaking down the thing of I'm not gonna watch this video because it's common sense to me. Kinda hurts your progress. So there's this book that I've been reading, that I've read in the past, and I'm reading again, called Theory of Fun by Raph Koster. He's worked on Ultima Online and a couple other things. He's a huge in the game design world, and I really appreciate the work that he has done on this. And the reason I bring it up is because he talks about how people are defining fun, and how can we define games. What are they? And it's a really good book. I'm bringing it up because he talks about a thing, how the brain works. In chapter 2, he talks about patterns. Our mind is all about recognizing patterns. We look at walls all the time and we'll see faces. I remember going through Foundry on Halo 3 and other maps and just seeing faces in random patterns, thinking they are intentional, but our mind just picks up on it because faces are a normal thing that we see. And these patterns understanding these patterns and how they come about can be important, because common sense is essentially a pattern, something you're used to doing over and over and over again. I mean, it's obvious that you want to put rocket launcher in a particular place, or a sniper rifle in a particular place for some people, but not for others. So going back and looking at it can help a ton. Um, let's see. So why things become common sense, like I said, it's a pattern. I mean, you do it over and over and over again. When you make a map look good, you tend to continue to make maps look good unless you're specifically breaking that rule for some particular reason. And it's important to understand where these rules come into place, where things become common sense, because then once you know how it becomes common sense, you can actually break from the norm and do something different. I mean, Spire and Halo Reach is a great example of trying to break the norm. That Spire in the center is tons higher than anything you could possibly do, and trying to make something like that, so a skyscraper in the midst of a low hill valley, can be quite the task, and understanding why people don't do it in the first place can help a lot in doing something different than what everybody else does. Another good example is understanding why people put sniper rifles on the higher levels or on the bottom levels, either one. I'm not going to state conventions right now, but understanding that can lead to breaking rules, and breaking rules leads to innovation and being unique and standing out. Not only does understanding patterns, become a big deal for breaking the rules, it's also important for creating new standards, creating new common sense, quote unquote, because you can create a new way of designing maps that people didn't think would, like 10 years ago, they wouldn't have believed that adding in a active roster or a friends list would be important at all. And now that's become a kind of standard thing for many games. Diablo, WoW, they've all got friends lists and stuff. And it's becoming common sense to integrate that social portion of games. So the same comes to map design. When people start to realize that there's a new pattern being formed, you need to understand where it came from in order to use it effectively. So, what am I asking here? I want you to keep an open mind when I cover topics. I want you to, you don't have to agree with anything that I say. I could be completely wrong in your eyes, and I don't care. That's fine, because each person has their own way of looking at things. You don't have to agree, but I ask that you at least try to see my side of things, and in turn, I'll see your side of the argument as well. All's fair, because we all have different ways, and we come to those ways through experience, through what we've learned. Now, another thing I want to ask is, on these videos, on these topics, no matter how simple, like I said, watch them, because it'll help. If it doesn't help, your own personal way of doing things, it'll help understand other people's, and that'll help you become a more collaborative designer in the first place, which is a great thing. And I ask that each of these videos try to comment for discussion. If you agree with the topic, or if you want to extend upon the topic, throw in some examples. Something that you find online. I mean, send me a private message if you find a great example of something that I'm talking about. I might even bring it up in the next video if I feel that it warrants that kind of value, and it's a great example that people should not miss. And in the end, I want you to think about it. Just when I discuss a topic, think about it. Don't just watch it and then put it off. Apply it to your own maps. If I talk about incentives, think about how the incentives are moving people around your maps, or moving people around various games, whatever. In Theory of Fun, he talks about how thinking has been proven to be just as good as doing. When you think about something, your mind runs through the pattern over and over and over again, and it becomes second nature, and it becomes something that you become skillful at. And I've said become a lot in the past few minutes. So take the time, watch all the videos, keep an open mind, respect each other's opinions. I'll respect yours if you respect mine, and comment for discussion. Participate. These aren't just videos for you to watch. I love feedback. I love hearing other people's side of the story. I'm especially looking at people who have a very, very big voice and they want to voice their own opinions. People like Secret Schnitzel. I know you'll be watching this. So give me feedback. Tell me. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me something else that I could cover. Let's break down common sense and stop using common sense and look into why things have become patterns. And maybe that'll help lead to connecting different concepts together. In the future, I'm going to cover how incentives, deterrence, height advantage, cover, everything, how it all ties together. And I'm going to use examples like on SketchUp. I'm going to show how that changes how people move, things like degree of focus and threat zones, all these little concepts that I've come up with that seem like common sense, but when you get down deep into it, tying everything together can make for a more polished experience because you understand and you can tweak it from there. Doing something just because people tell you to is not the way to go. Doing something because you know why, because you actually have reasons to do it, that's where we should be heading. We don't just add height advantage because we know it's important. We add height advantage because we know how it affects cover, how it affects movement, how it affects ease of things like throwing grenades. So think about it. That's all I have for now. I'm going to go start recording the third video, or second real video. We'll call the first video Ground Zero. Video 0. This will be video 1. My next video is going to be on incentives, so hopefully you take a look at that, and hope to hear your comments, and spread the word. Tell other people, because the more discussion we have, the better we all get as a group. Catch you later.